What's going on, guys? I'm DB, also known as the official Wildman Reese. Ever since I was little, I've had an affinity for wildlife, nature, and the outdoors. So why don't y'all come with me as I share a little bit of my life with y'all and we go on this journey together. Come with me. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's video where we jump right back into putting more decor into Tookie's enclosure. And if y'all make sure to pay close attention to this video, you get to see Tookie moving around a whole lot in this one. So it'll be a lot of fun. Let's go.
All right, guys, picking up right where we left off last week with this turtle shell igloo. You can see Tookie's investigating. I love that. You can see that they really are curious and they really are figuring out what's going on. That piece of wood I've got there, we're going to add to the entrance of this turtle shell igloo to add a little more length and give her a little more space to hide than just the igloo. And all this dirt we're adding underneath, so if she wants to dig deeper, she could dig deeper. And then around the bottom, it is to start lumping it up to move water away from it, as well as insulate it a little better. And then same thing with these logs. We're adding the dirt so she can dig a little deeper, and then also making sure it's at a gradient so it runs water away from the hides. And then we ended up making this a little long too, so that it's got enough space so that she's got different options when she gets in there to hide.
Didn't get as much done as I wanted today in here. Had a lot going on today, but we did accomplish some stuff. So we got the igloo turned into more of a tortoise shell, turtle shell, whatever you want to call it. And then we got the hides in here. And of course, nothing is, done yet. So we'll add some more dirt, raise the areas so that it pushes water away from the hide areas. And we'll add more hides. And then in the fall, like I said, we're gonna add plants. But for tonight, this is what's done. Pretty happy with it. And I think Tookie likes it already. She's hiding in this here where it kind of goes back in there. I put a couple of logs together so she enters here in the front, but then this comes all the way back here and she can hide all the way back here in this one. So she's back there for the night, and I think that's where she's gonna stay. And then of course this igloo, y'all saw that whole process. It's got a hole where she can get in there, and then I extended it with the wood piece so it's even longer and it's more of a hiding area as well. So she's got a couple spots she can bounce back and forth with, but that's it for tonight.
Okay, so here we are adding more dirt like we've done in other parts of this video and we do throughout this video. We're about to take this broken pot here to the right and bury it in this dirt, and we're putting it at a slope again because we're running water away from the hides and making sure it drains well. And then after that, we add a little more dirt for depth for her to dig. And then we put this rock behind, which I'll explain why we did that here in a second.
Okay, so we've got this in. This is a rock that's flat, and I've put it down behind. So when we backfill this with dirt, it doesn't keep falling in. And that way Tookie can get in here, it'll be closed off, and she can also climb over it, which will be good for her legs. You don't want them just walking on flat surfaces. So it'll be mounted up, she'll have to walk over it. Eventually we might put a little plant back here. I'm not sure. Have to be something small. I don't want it blocking this hide completely. But when we get there, we'll figure that out. So for now, I'm gonna backfill this like everything. And of course we put this in at a slant so it's kind of angled, and then we're sloping everything down so if it rains or whatever, everything runs away from the hides and it doesn't stack up around the hides or make it super wet around the hides, and everything dries really good. So that's another thing that we're making sure to do.
So I know I've said it before, but other than putting the animals in their actual enclosure and watching them interact with it, this is my favorite part, setting the enclosure up and putting all the decor in and knowing that you're setting it up correctly. For instance, like that pot and the rock we just buried, we could have left that exposed. It would have served the function either way. Same thing with this black pipe. We could have just stuck it there and left it exposed and it would have served its purpose. But by adding the dirt on top and eventually adding plants, it just makes it look so much more natural and gives it a better look.
I came to a stop for this morning. Oh, Tookie's over here eating. Look at that. She's chowing down. She's got some hibiscus flowers, some Mexican petunia flowers, and then a little bit of bell pepper. red and yellow. Looks like she's enjoying the bell pepper at the moment. Anyway, so I added these sticks in here because I had them laying around the yard, and it just adds a little more to the enclosure for now to make her have more to investigate. Those might not stay like that. I do plan on incorporating them in there in some way or other, but obviously we got more hides to incorporate in here and then plants and everything, so we'll figure that out later. But I am going to leave them in here for now. It just adds more to the enclosure. But for today, what we got done was, here's our pot that we buried, and then here's that black corrugated pipe.
So 2 things I want to address in this part of the video that's very important for these guys. One is, you're watching Tookie walk around. She's climbing over all this stuff. That's the part I was saying it's very important, because in nature she'd have to do that same thing, which is good for their legs and why they can't just be on flat surfaces. The other part is, as you're watching her, she's investigating everything. That's the enrichment part we always talk about, is so important.
All right, people, I know I said I wasn't going to add the plants till fall, but I got to be honest, a few of these plants were starting to struggle in these pots because it's getting so hot. And even when I pulled them out of the pots they were in, the root ball was just super hot, and I think that might be why. And maybe that's why here in Texas some of the plants die when you pot them, because it's just too hot. I mean, they were on fire. So I figured I'm gonna go ahead and transplant them instead of watching them die. I'm gonna water them real good tonight, water them in the morning, and keep them nice and wet without overdoing it with this heat in August, and hopefully they grab hold. So I did put some plants in because I'd rather try and them die that way than watching them die in the pots. So these purple things are called purple hearts. That thing there in the middle right there is rosemary. This thing right here is a sage plant or a salvia plant. So this morning what we're going to work on for sure is coming to this side and putting dirt over here to where it's mounted up evenly like it is on that other side with these wood pieces. And if you can see what I'm talking about, so we're going to add some dirt right in here and level it up a little bit so to help hold what we put up here, because you can see, you know, like the wood here, wood, and then back here. So we're going to connect all this so it all looks like hidden as well. So that's what we're going to work on this morning. Okay, everybody, as you can see, we got that done. You can see how everything pulls away from the hides and drains off somewhere else. So that's what I wanted. All right, people, here's the accomplishments for today. We created this hide that goes up and in, and she can get up in there. And then it's also got an exit or entrance over here as well, so she can get in and out 2 different places. We put this log as well. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I'll figure that out later. But we got all this mounted up like we wanted, and we've got some, or at least one new hiding spot added that adds quite a bit of hiding for her. I want to utilize these things here. It's a pot that broke in half and it broke in a couple other places. You can actually see where I glued it with some Gorilla epoxy, I believe is what it's called. This clear coat stuff and this stuff here, you know, it had big cracks in it. This is actually old where it had broke before, and it has held together just fine. So I want to get these in here and utilize these. I really like the way they look. So the pots that were sitting here the other day that I said we wanted to utilize, well, I don't know why I didn't think to set the camera up this morning, but I think I just got out here. It feels pretty good. It's overcast. It's not so hot. And I put them here. If you remember that log, we set up this log the other day, that thing, and we set up that hide. So what I did was I utilized those pots here on either side, and I put this side with the fat part at the front of the log where the skinny part is out here. And then with this part, I put the fat part here with the skinny part in there. And then I added this log. But anyway, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I didn't the camera up. I think I just got excited. But when you get down in here and kind of look back in there, you can see that kind of goes back in there. So not only can she get in here, she can kind of go back up under that log that's into the ground. And same thing on this side. So when she goes up in here, she can kind of go back and get up in underneath where that log is built into the ground. So it's back up in there. You know, we kind of buried this. You can kind of see that even though you see this top part here, it comes all the way back here, and we have it buried some. So she could get back up under there and hide in there. And then we may grate foam some of this as well for the cracks, just to seal it off a little better. But anyway, that's what I worked on this morning. Okay, everybody, so after talking this out with my kiddos, I realized I didn't like this fat part up here because we already have so much wood and so much happening up here. And eventually we're gonna put plants in, so it is gonna break this up a little bit and it's not gonna look as chaotic. But I didn't like that so much of the wood is already up, you know, here. And so I figured if we added this fat part up there, it's just one more piece of fat wood. So what I liked instead was with this piece, as you can see, we butted it up against the wood. So it's a continuation of what we have going on, but then it flows outwards. And we made that look like it's coming up from under the ground. And we made that look like it's in the ground and then breaking up from under the ground. And then eventually what we'll do with this part where we left space is we'll put some kind of plants, weeds, something coming up out of there from underneath. So it just gives it an even better look and better illusion of it coming up from under the ground. I found dandelion green, whatever this part is called, and I'm gonna blow it in here underneath this area so that hopefully these dandelion green seeds will grow. All right, you can see the trail of seeds there, and we're just gonna throw some dirt over it and hope it grows. Let's see what happens. There we go. We'll let that settle in, and that'll hopefully take hold, and we'll have some dandelion greens growing out of there next summer, or heck, maybe even this summer. So we'll see. I'll let y'all know, keep you updated. All right, guys, so that's it for this week's video. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notification bells, comment down below, let me know if you like the video or not, or what you want to see in upcoming videos. And then make sure you come back next Sunday when we kind of continue this same thing and continue to do more decor in her enclosure and add plants. So see y'all next week. Y'all have a good week.
This has been a Wild Media production. Wildly imaginative little duo.